Hi everyone, this is Total War Therapy and you already know how it works. This is the series about the roster of any faction of the game, and here's the KISLEV one. I think it will be the last of the summer, and please consider to subscribe if you enjoy the content, and let's move on. KISLEV Warriors, they've been added with the second version of the Shadows of Change DLC, and actually a very good filler. You can use them to protect your flanks or your back. You don't have to consider their armor piercing damage because it's just ineffective. They're completely useless. But yeah, you can use them even in the late campaign just to cover the army where it's needed. And yes, Cers are the true essence of the KISLEV roster. They are hybrid, so they can both shoot their arrows, or they are quite good at melee. They can be your front line. I mean, before KISLEV Warriors, they were your only chance of having a front line in the early campaign. And they have a very good range. They can actually be good even just as a missile unit. And yeah, you have to prefer them to their spears counterpart because they can actually deal a lot of damage to the weak units of your enemy. Cers with spear, as I said, they're like the others but with the worst stats, and that's why they have to focus on cavalry to defend the flank, the back, but they are not actually decent against the infantry enemy unit. Armored Cers, they have a very low ammunition, but with his power range attack, they are very armored compared to other middle tier infantry, so they can stand very good against most of the other infantry. They are shielded against other missile enemy, and actually the perfect choice for the front line in the when you start to move in your campaign. Armored Cers with grab weapons. You already know the difference, but I can tell you that actually don't use them quite a lot in the game. Yes, they can be good in the second line to bring power, bring armor piercing power where needed, if there is a particular kind of infantry or monster attacking some of your front line. But yes, actually for their missile power they should be in the front line, and in that case they're not that effective. You can try to use them as a flankers, but they will be weak. So no, not absolutely a good choice. Streltsy, yes. They're actually a good unit. Their only weakness is that they are not that decent in melee combat like they want to make you believe. They have a very good armor piercing missile damage. That's why you should put them more into your flankers, to try to catch up the enemies before they reach your front line, but be very careful for the melee stats because they will go down very quickly. Akina ambushers, added with Shadows of Change, and after all those the buff they made to make them weaker, they are still a huge pain in the and yeah, they have a very good missile powers, and with the stalk ability they are very annoying. You can just put them around and they would be very hard to spot, and they've actually good melee stats. I mean, they got lower with all the patches, but they can still do a very low damage, and when you see an army full of them you have to be very scared. Zarguard, actually kinda armor Cers, but they have improved melee stats and no ammunition. They're actually a very good front line if you prefer a more basic game, so without hybrid units, but they can still they're very good actually, but too expensive in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, if you want a sturdy front line that will hold against everything, they are the perfect choice. The same for Zarguard great weapons. They are good against armored infantry, and they're actually a very good one, but they're very specific. So just keep one or at most two of them in a very late campaign army to deal with heavy infantry, because otherwise they are actually not that defensive. They don't have such a good stats against other kind of units. So High Guards, they are actually so awesome, even if they probably are too expensive for their role. They're hybrid units, but actually not that good at melee. They have their stats actually, but yeah, I mean, they can be good against middle infantry, or I mean weak one, but it's better to avoid them against specialized infantry, against other infantry, or very armored infantry. And but with the frostbite missile attack, they can actually a lot of missile powers, because they can slow down the enemy units while it's coming to your front line. They are immune to psychology, and yeah, they do an awesome job. The same for the Ice Guard with Claves. They are actually very good as a flankers, because they can defend from monsters and everything. But yeah, still not that good like they can look like. So I will avoid to, you know, completely fool my army of them. Kosovo Dervishes, I mean, with all the numerous addition to KISLEV, I don't know if they are still a proper unit to use, but yeah, you can just put one or two of them in the early stages of your campaign. They can be quite effective at tearing down very vulnerable or low tier units of the enemy. Horse archers, they're actually good at their job. I mean, they are skirmish units that you can use in the early stages of the campaign to annoy your enemy as much as possible. WingLuners, they're actually shock cavalry with a lot of charge bonus and some new abilities added with the new patches that make them even stronger. They're actually very good at their job. They can tear down even, you know, mid-tier infantry units, but be very careful, because when they are started to be taken down by characters or monsters or heavy calves, they fall down very quickly. Griffon Legion are actually the same, but they're with a lot of charge bonus, more armored, better melee stats, but you will use them actually at the same way, so just an upgrade to Lancers that they can actually be effective, you know, compared to other upgrade. It can be actually very good. I mean, yeah, the perfect choice for the mid-late campaign. War Sled, they can be both heavy and light. They are both effective. They have a missile power that they do their job, and but with the charge bonus and their anti-infantry bonus, they actually destroy and go through the enemy front line, or, you know, overall all around the army, just to destroy the line and make your enemy with causing terror, make them running away, and they're just perfect. But you have to be very careful against characters, monsters, and heavy cav that can actually, or, you know, focus anti-large units that can actually tear them down very quickly. Warbe Riders, the ultimate cavalry for KISLEV, or maybe not. They have a low number, that's why they're not that effective or charging big number units, but they can be very good against monsters, against cavalry, and I mean, basically large combatants. You can even use them to charge other enemies, but it's not their main strength. So yeah, basically just one or two of them to focus on monsters and calves, and they will do an amazing job. Little Grom, a fast mobile artillery that can actually be very good even at melee combats, so you can use them to charge around just a little the enemy, just you know, in case. They have a big power damage for missile, but still one shot, so be very careful about how to use it. It's supposed to be strong against large entities, but it can do a good job even against infantry if you use it correctly. And yeah, keep it very fast, very mobile, make it move around and be safe, because yes, that's its job. Okay, we can start with the beast part of the roster. There's no Leopard. It's actually a very cute unit. I love his aesthetics, but still I don't get very well how to use it. It's supposed to be anti-cav, but at the same point, if you make it address, you know, light cavalry or light monsters, it doesn't do actually a good job. It's actually perfect against the magician of other kinds, so light armor, light melee stats, heroes and characters, lords, and everything, or maybe, you know, little artillery pieces. But yeah, it's a unit I can tell you, just one at your roster at most. Just one, because yeah, you can have plenty of situation where to use it, but other times you just to put it in the back and do nothing. So just one, you know, as a pet. Thanks to the wood, very controversial addition to this roster, because they're actually chaos units that I mean, they're not supposed to be here, but they actually do a good job, and I think they're actually good fitting this roster, because they add some kind of monster, big charge cavalry kind to this to KISLEV, and you can actually use them in plenty of ways. They are very good against infantry and very annoying, you know, when the enemy had them. So yeah, quite a proof choice. Frostvirm, already made a video about it, and probably I will do another one about how to use it, because I think it's a very underrated unit. Yet it's quite expensive, but it's a low tier, and he has a lot of good qualities. He has a good charge, he has a good mass, and a good mobility. He can just move around all the enemy army and you know, destroy everything. It's not that good, I admit it, in the close combat against other monsters, other characters, or even, you know, more focused units against, you know, anti-large or heavy cav and so on. He is weak. He's definitely weak, but he has cool animation, and if you use them in a proper way, so not just get stuck in the enemy, but move around the battlefield, he will deal a lot of damage, I can guarantee. The elemental bear, our beloved bear, is actually very strong, and the quite problem solver of KISLEV. Is a big mass, and but at the same time a big model that can be easily taken down by missile units or other monsters and so on. But it can be very good against large units of infantry, or yeah, just to go around and destroy wherever he finds it can. He has a Brit attack that is actually pretty strong, and yeah, I mean, of course you will use it only in the late campaign, but it's a good choice. It's not that expensive for all the help that it can bring, and I mean, honestly, the first time I saw it, I thought, you know, just giant bear, don't like it, but actually it's awesome. It's very awesome. Incarnate Elemental Beast, another unit that very controversial, because many people don't think he's supposed to be here, but actually a very good choice. It's actually very cool to think of him in the KISLEV roster. He has some incredible animation, and yeah, he was at the beginning good against cav, now it's against infantry. I mean, I don't know how many changes will still go through, but yeah, very effective. You have to be very careful with missile enemies, because he can be turned down very quickly, and I had a lot of experience with that. With Mother of Stankia, you have an Incarnate Elemental Beast, and the early stages of the campaign, if you find an enemy of black shards that they will address him, it will just go down that, and you can do nothing about it. So be very careful, but when you use it in a proper way, it will deal a lot of damage. And yes, we can declare finished the last roster guide of this summer, I think, I hope. I mean, let's see. And I want to move to other kinds of video for now, but then I will go back with September. And oh my god, I'm dying. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a feedback, a comment, and let's see with what's next.